Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to stop number 4 on the PWBA season schedule here. We're in Eagan, Minnesota at Cedarville Lanes. I'm Mike Flanagan here on Bull TV. We're glad you're watching us this afternoon, not only on bulltv.com, but we're also giving you a free preview here of the practice session on Facebook, on YouTube as well. So I'm not here by myself, though. I'm going to bring in my broadcast partner here this weekend, which is Jason Thomas. Hello, Jason.
Hello, Mike. You are not here by yourself. You've got me and 65 of the greatest female bowlers in the world that are bowling right behind me here joining us.
Yeah, sure do. And, it's cool to be back with PWBA. We had the Kickoff Classic back in January. We had the 3 different events where we saw at the Bowlers Journal Classic, we saw Shannon O'Keefe take home the title, picking up from being the 2-time reigning player of the year. And at the ITRC Classic, we saw Brianna Cote break through and get her second win. And then, of course, at the Hall of Fame Classic, who could forget Julia Bond picking up her first title on the tour. So really cool competition. We took a couple months off, and now we're back with our 4th stop here up here in Minnesota. 16 more titles, JT, 16 more titles on the line, as we're going to have 20 total titleists this year on the PWBA Tour.
Yeah, it's felt like forever since the Kickoff Classic, which was a fantastic event. We were there. We had a really great time with that event. But if you happen to read the preview story that Aaron Smith put together on this particular event, where he talked to Shannon O'Keefe, she said it felt like eons ago, and she was one of the champions in that. So she's been coaching, the McKendree women's team, and they're coming to the end of their season. But these other ladies have all been doing other things as well. Some of them have been competing. Some of them have been, back at home, not able to bowl. Verity Crawley is here this week, which is fantastic. It's the return of her to the PWBA Tour. And she actually finished second here the last time we were here. So she's going to be a big story to watch for this week. But a big field, 65 players. All of the best are out here competing this week, so it's going to be really fun to watch the tour get kind of back going again.
Yeah, it's great to be back on Bowl TV as well. We also just came off of a couple of huge events, the USBC Masters and of course the US Open. So we want to thank everybody for tuning into those broadcasts as well right here on Bowl TV. So let's go ahead. Let's take everybody out to the lanes, JT. What do you say here?
That's a great idea. That's what people, they don't want to see us. They want to see this bowling.
I'm going to go full screen because I think what most people like to talk about is the oil pattern. And I've conveniently set up the oil pattern right here for us. There is the oil pattern. So some highlights that I like to look at first. 41 feet in length, 25.24 milliliters of oil, with 14.85 of milliliters on the way down, and that's fire. That's the fire conditioner. And on the way back, it's 10.39 milliliters of oil with the ice oil conditioner. 2.33 to 1 ratio. And everybody can take a look at that if you want to screenshot it so you got the pattern. We'll show it a few more times for you. But that's the oil pattern. JT, what do you think of this pattern? What do you think the scoring pace is going to be like?
Yeah, I think it could be pretty good. A lot of it will depend on the carry. They are using 2-year-old pins here. Brent Prentice had the option of putting new pins. He said, "No, let's keep them, old pins, so we can let them score a little bit better," which should help. We saw at the Masters and the U.S. Open, they had brand new pins in, which kind of held the scoring pace down a little bit there at those events. But 25 to 26 mils of oil really isn't that high volume anymore these days. And using the fire oil, there should be plenty of friction for the ladies to bowl on. And there's a little bit of shape to the pattern too. So my guess is you're going to see some scores this week.
I agree with you. You think you can figure it out from reading a graph and then watching practice, but you really don't know until the ladies take to the lanes for score. Practice is practice, of course, but you don't see as many balls go down the lane throwing at spares. It's a lot more strike balls. But if I remember correctly, this is a pretty just high scoring house in general.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, if the carry cooperates, we could see some pretty big scores here this week, especially with the strength of the field.
And if you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook and you're not a Bowl TV subscriber, now would be a great time to subscribe to Bowl TV. We're going to have the first round of qualifying tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central, and then the second round of qualifying at 5 p.m. Then, of course, Saturday will be additional qualifying in the cut all the way up until the stepladder finals, which will be here on Saturday evening. And if you'd like to sign up for Bowl TV, go to bowltv.com. It's $8.95 for this event pass. A better deal is just to sign up monthly at $9.95 a month, or you can sign up for an annual subscription for $79.95. And you can check that out over at bowltv.com.
Yeah, so we just saw a nice comment from Chris Pulliam in the Bowl TV chat, and about nice to see Kelly back out on the lanes. Which, we missed her at the Kickoff Classic, so it is nice to see the great Kelly Kulik back in action here this week. I know I've been kind of following her on social media, and it looks like she's been working out quite a bit to get ready for the tour. I saw a post where she drilled a bunch of bowling balls, a bunch of new bowling balls for the tour, and it looks like she's hopefully got the spark back.
I also have been noticing that, and how cool would it be to see Kelly get a win out here this week?
Yeah, I mean, it would be fantastic. Obviously, she's been so great for so long, but only one title since the relaunch, and so I think everybody would be a little bit surprised if they would have told you that before the tour relaunch back in 2015 that 6 years later Kelly would have only won once. But she's had a lot of great events. She's had a lot of great seasons. She's been among the top players in points every year. She just hasn't been able to rack up a lot of wins, and so for her to pick up another title would be awesome. And she's so good. She's just never out of it, so you can never count her out.
We're going to be with you here for 90 minutes. It's a 90-minute practice session, and because we still have certain protocols because of the COVID-19 pandemic that we're, knock on wood, getting closer and closer to being out of here, each pair of lanes will have the tournament pattern. The pairing will be permitted 13 minutes of practice on the pair. Then each pairing will then skip 2 pairs to the right, have 2 minutes to get to their new pair, and then the final practice pair set will receive an additional 2 minutes of practice. So 6 pairs at 13 minutes each is 78 minutes, and the final practice pair gets an additional 2 minutes. So that's how we come up with 80 minutes, and of course 10 minutes of skipping time puts us at 90 minutes. We'll be on the air with you.
We'll also try to get some of the ball reps once they've had a chance to kind of get a lay of the land and what's going on with the patterns and seeing some of the different types of equipment that are going down the lanes. We'll grab 1 or 2 of them and get you some updates on that. I'm sure you want to hear what they have to say about what's going on out on the lanes.
And our coverage this weekend, we're going to have double pairs for you to watch this weekend, where you'll be able to watch 2 pairs at once. Is kind of how our setup is. Every bowling center is a little bit different as we move into them, so that's what we'll see here. I also noticed Giselle Poss here just making a company change. Her boyfriend Matt Gasson, congratulations to him. He is now going to be a district manager, sales manager, regional sales manager for Storm Bowling Products. And Giselle making the switch over to Storm. This is her first event with Storm bowling balls, so be interesting to see how she performs. And congratulations again to Matt Gasson. And that's one of the interesting things, in the bowling world. The sports teams are the ball companies almost. And whenever you see players switch around a little bit, some of them have instant success, and some of them it takes a little bit of time before they warm up to the new equipment.
Yeah, certainly something to watch for, especially with Giselle. And I'm not sure how long she's had to kind of, get a look at the new equipment. But, she was someone who could always create a lot of down lane motion just because of her high rev rate and her axis rotation. And so, obviously, there's a little difference in motion in the arsenals between brands. And so, for her, the key is just to get dialed in with, which balls match up best for her ball roll. So we'll see. Something to watch for. And she was one of the players that wasn't able to make it to the kickoff classic. She wanted to bowl, wasn't able to make it out. So a lot of players here this week that we didn't see at the kickoff classic. Kelly Kulik for one. Vulcan is here this week. Verity Crawley is a big story. She's been stuck on the other side of the pond, but she's been able to make it over, and she actually finished second here the last time we were here at Cedar Vale Lanes. So she's a big story to watch for this week.
Yeah, it's great to see the tour back after taking last year off. Looks like the ladies are done with their first 13 minutes of practice here. But coming up, we're going to have the Twin Cities Open, of course, is what we're streaming this weekend for you. Next weekend, we're going to have the PWBA Lincoln Open from Sun Valley Lanes in Lincoln, April 29th through May 1st. Then we'll come back the following week with the PWBA Greater Cleveland Open at Yorktown Lanes in Parma Heights, Ohio. Then it'll be the USBC Queens, May 12th to the 18th from the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada. Then we'll head on to the BVL Open, the Albany Open, the Greater Nashville Open, the Louisville Open. Then we'll take a little bit of a break, and we'll go off to the great event down there in Copperfield Bowl in Houston, Texas, the PWBA Striking Against Breast Cancer Mixed Doubles, which will be July 29th to August 1st. Come back August 2nd through the 10th for the PWBA Summer Classic Series. August 19th to the 21st for the PWBA Spokane Open. August 24th to the 31st, the U.S. Women's Open. And, of course, that'll be at Double-Decker Lanes in Rohnert Park, California. And then rounding out the season, October 25th through November 1st, the PWBA Fall Classic Series. So a lot of bowling. As we mentioned at the top of the show, this is our fourth event of the season. But it's going to be fast and furious as we move forward here with 20 total titles on the line this year on the PWBA Tour.
So the players are moving to different pairs. There's protocols in place for how they're able to practice here today. So they've got to stay on an assigned lane for a certain period of time, and then they have the opportunity to move to another set of lanes. And so that's what's happening right now. So it's been pretty cool, to see all the ladies. I haven't seen some of them in almost 2 years, and you kind of forget that when they walk in the door and you get to see them, and you catch it. It's like a reunion. You catch up, and the kickoff classic was fantastic. But like I said, there were quite a few players here this week that weren't at that event, so we never got the opportunity to see them, and so some of them have been working really hard on their health and fitness. Dasha Kovalova, who had, come into the kickoff classic in great shape. She's in even better shape now. I mean, it's been, 2.5, 3 months since that event. And she's been continuing to work on her fitness. Stephanie Johnson has been working on her fitness. She looks fantastic. Kelly Kulik, as we mentioned, has been, working out quite a bit. So, I mean, these players are ready. They've had all this time to kind of prepare and get themselves ready, for the resumption of the tour. And now, that we're here, this is the real heart of the season, because they're going to be bowling week after week after week for a long time now. And so they've most of the players that I ran into here today, they look ready.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I can't help but notice here as we have some new players coming in to the pairs that we're showing here on the screen. But Shannon Plahowski, not a lot of traffic on the left side of the lane. Hasn't had a very good start to her PWBA relaunch career. Could this be the year that Shannon Polhowski emerges and could win Player of the Year? That's a bold prediction right there, but it's totally possible. And she's got a lot of confidence, and I'm sure she's feeling good right now too, as she was named the assistant coach for the University of Nebraska. They just took home a national championship, and she's probably got a little bit of a looser arm swing, having that gig and having all this success, being out there coaching the young ladies at Nebraska.
Yeah, I agree. And, I think also, the fact that we are going to be doing our finals on Bull TV with no spectators, that could help her. She's really had a hard time on television. And I think the fact that, she's not going to have to deal with that. And, she's always made a lot of shows, but she's had a real hard time closing the deal on television. And I think that the change in the format and the fact that we won't have spectators, that could be just what she needs in order to get the monkey off her back and start winning titles. And I think once she wins that first one, she could go on a run, like you said, Mike, where she wins 3 or 4 or 5 in a year and could contend for Player of the Year.
At the Kickoff Classic, JT, Jillian Martin was kind of getting a lot of the buzz, rightfully so, because of how young that she was and how well she did, making a couple of shows. But one player that I think kind of got overlooked at that event is somebody with a huge rev rate who really broke onto the tour, got a title, and that's Jordan Richard. We haven't talked about her a whole lot, but she's got that devastating strike ball, and these next few weeks coming up, I look for her to take some big steps out here on tour.
Yeah, I do too. The thing that's interesting about Jordan, when she won in Lincoln, there were some stories written about her, about how she has trouble from time to time staying focused throughout, long qualifying blocks. And it feels like, if she can figure out a way to just stay a little bit more focused, she's got so much talent, such a fantastic physical game. She's so fundamentally sound, and she knows how to win when she gets something that she likes. I think if she can just figure out a way to just stay a little bit more, mentally focused, not give away too many frames, kind of, pay attention from start to finish. Man, she's certainly got Player of the Year potential.
One other great resource for everybody to check out is PWBA.com. If you want to see the lane pairings, which ladies will be crossing with which bowlers during the qualifying here at Cedarville Lanes, you can go over and check that out over at PWBA.com. A lot of great information there. The oil pattern is now also posted. As well as the roster. JT, I was also looking at the 2021 PWBA Tour statistics, which is also available over on PWBA.com. And a shocker here, but number one in points coming into this event through 3 events is Shannon O'Keefe. She sits at 24,850 points, 100 points behind. Tied for second is Julia Bond and Lindsay Boomershine. And we saw Lindsay Boomershine really elevate her game at the Kickoff Classic. And she's got a new mindset, and she's bowling great. And I also noticed that here at this event, Hank Boomershine is here doing some ball repping for Storm. So good luck to Lindsay this week.
Yeah, I mean, she came so close to getting that first title, and it was tough to watch, but it was also nice to watch because she had looked like she made so much progress from previous times that she made the stepladder finals. And you just know that, she keeps knocking on the door. She's going to get that first title and potentially more. She bowled so well at that kickoff classic event.
Got a question here coming in on Facebook. Wanted to know, do we have a final count on the number of bowlers participating this weekend? We mentioned at the top of the show, 65 total bowlers participating here at the Twin Cities Open. Again, if you'd like to watch qualifying all the way up until our stepladder finals, Friday and Saturday, got to make sure you subscribe to Bowl TV. If you're not already subscribed, you can head over there now, create an account. It's $8.95 for this event, $9.95 per month, $79.95 for an annual subscription to Bowl TV. We'd love to have you come on board and watch professional women's bowling all the way through the end of the season, as well as all the other events upcoming. And JT, what other events do we have upcoming here on Bowl TV that people should know about?
Well, one of the huge events that we've got coming up besides PWBA is the ITCs and ISC Nationals tournament, which will happen the same week as our event in Lincoln. So you're going to certainly want to tune in to watch that. That's going to determine the national championship, both the men's and women's singles champions, as well as the team champions in men's and women's collegiate bowling. So that's a big one to watch for. Next week, we're actually going to be broadcasting our USBC convention. So if you've ever had any interest in seeing, how the rules and legislation is made at USBC, that's your opportunity to see that. There's also a separate website that we'll be broadcasting it on as well, but it'll be available on Bowl TV. So if you've ever been interested in not just the rules, but there's also some great seminars and some fun things to check out with respect to that event. But once those events are done, then we're basically in PWBA tour mode. And as you mentioned, Mike, 20 total titles will be awarded this season on the PWBA tour. And if you're thinking about even further down the road, we've got the Bowlers Journal Team Championship Series, which kicks off in the fall, which is kind of a relaunch of the Brunswick World Team Challenge. That was such a popular event back in the 90s. So that event will be a lot of fun, especially if you're a fan of team bowling. And then you can't forget Junior Gold, which will take place in July.
Yeah, Junior Gold is such an interesting one to watch because of all the different bowling centers. That's a lot of wires and a lot of cabling, but it's a lot of bowling and it's a lot of youth bowling happening out there at Junior Gold. It's always impressed me over the years how much coverage Junior Gold gets here on Bowl TV.
Yeah, it's such a great event. I mean, you've got over 3,000 of the best junior bowlers in the world coming out to participate in that event. And, we try to do our best to cover as much of it as we can. It's basically like watching, the PWBA tour or the US Open and the Masters, the PBA tour, which we had on just recently for the kids. And the funny thing is, a lot of the kids that we've been watching, at the U.S. Open and the Masters will be bowling Junior Gold. So Spencer Robars will be there. Saw him bowl great at the Masters and make the show, and then made a nice run at the U.S. Open. So he'll be there participating, in addition to Jillian Martin, who we saw at the Kickoff Classic. So, and Terrell Ingalls, who bowled the U.S. Open, and just an incredible crop of young players that are fun to watch. And watching right now, Amanda Vermilia, who it's great to see back. Some really great stories written in Bowler's Journal about Amanda. She recently just was part of a team state record here in the Minnesota State USBC Championships. So she's coming in on a hot streak and knows this place very well. She's from this area, and her and her husband bowl quite a bit here at Cedarville Lane. So she's someone to watch for here this week. Jen Higgins there on pair to our left. Seeing her for the first time on the PWBA tour this season.
Yeah, she's the best bowler in her household. I don't care what anybody says.
That's rough, man.
Love you, Dan.
Dan is certainly no slouch. Dan, I'm sure, getting ready for the Open Championships.
Oh, Dan's actually watching.
Oh, did he chime in on the comments?
He did. He says that he loves me too.
Had someone ask in the Bowl TV chat if Jillian Martin was bowling. She's not bowling here this week. She's going to be, according to her and her father, she'll be bowling the next Classic Series event at the ITRC.
Keep in mind, lanes 1 and 2 and 21 through 24 are not in play. So do not count those as you move 2 pair to the right. Skip 2 pair to the right. Skip 2 pair to the right.
You got 2 seconds.
Looks like JT has lined me up our first guest. I'd like to welcome Chuck Gardner from the Brands of Brunswick. How you doing, Chuck?
I'm great. Hope you are.
I am. I'm doing great, bud. So what are you seeing out there from this oil pattern so far in just about, 25 minutes of practice or so here?
Well, I mean, I think Nick was being nice. I think they're a little gettable this week. And I think it's important to keep your angles not too open to start with. Medium bowling balls, nothing huge. And just try and keep it, between 12 and 8 and just camp out in that zone, I think, for quite a while, to be honest with you.
I know we don't have a lot of lefties out here on tour, Chuck, but I was just curious, what do you think of the left side being a symmetric pattern?
Well, I mean, I think, do we have more than one?
I haven't seen more than one.
Yeah, Shannon's looks pretty okay so far, and I'm pretty sure they don't have to really consider that too much because we don't have a lot of lefties. So I mean, obviously, we'd love for her to have a great week. It's my first week ever working with her, and we've talked about working together for like 10 years. So I'm excited about that, and I hope she's as excited about it as I am.
Yeah, I mentioned that because I know that you're repping her this week, and I actually set that one up pretty good there, buddy. Anything that you think that you can do, or anything that you've thought about with that young lady about getting her some more TV appearances, finals, and trying to get some W's out there?
Yeah, I've thought about it ever since the day that the purchase happened of the Ebonite brands from Brunswick. And I still believe to this minute it's confidence, it's belief in herself, it's trusting her decision making, and having faith in second set of eyes and other people believing in her. I think she's always had, listen, the guys that worked with her at Ebonite are fantastic reps, Sean and Schnelly and Rob and all those guys. But maybe she just never had enough belief to be as great as she is. She's one of the greatest talents I've maybe ever seen. And it's really kind of weird that she hasn't had more success since we started the tour back up. It's just kind of, I'm looking forward to it. She sent me a text the other day. She goes, "It's finally going to happen. We finally get our first week together, and I'm looking for a great week." So we'll see. We'll see if just because she believes that I might be able to help her some, maybe it'll make her believe in herself even more, because that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, that's cool, man. One more for you, and then I'll let you get back out there because I know you got a lot of work to do. But Shannon O'Keefe is right here on our screen right now. She's out there practicing. She's been coaching her girls. She's back out here. She got the first W of the season. She's #1 in points. What do you think of Shannon's chances here this week, and where's she at mentally coming into this event?
Totally on the other side of the spectrum of Shannon Pulowski. Shannon O'Keefe never feels any nerves. She doesn't feel those jitters, that lack of belief, because she believes that if she's prepared enough, that she's going to succeed. She believes in her preparation. She believes in her hard work, and it certainly showed over the last 3 or 4 years, being the best player in the world. And I think her chances are really good. She's bowled well in this building before, and she bowls good pretty much everywhere she goes.
She sure does. Chuck, thanks for spending a few minutes. I know you got some work you got to do. Looking forward to spending some time with you this week. Have a great week, buddy, and we'll see you in the booth throughout the event.
Absolutely. My pleasure, man.
Thank you. That's Chuck Gardner from the Brands of Brunswick. Always nice of Chuck to stop by. JT joins me back here in the booth. Had a nice, interesting conversation with Chuck there. We honed in on the Shannons, Pulowski and O'Keefe, kind of bookends at the end of the spectrum as far as mentally in stepladder finals. You know, Shannon O'Keefe is always mentally prepared and thinks she can win every time. And I set Chuck up. He's never worked with Shannon Pulowski before, JT. Isn't that kind of interesting to think you
Yeah, you think at this point he's worked with everybody. But it's been around the neighborhood a little bit. But yeah, I'm sure that'll be fun for him. You know, obviously somebody of her talent. Oh, there's a lily. Almost a lily.
Almost.
But you know, somebody of Pulowski's talent, you know, you put her with somebody like Chuck, who's, you know, seen it all and knows how to navigate. And really, Chuck, one of the things that I think he's really underrated at is you know, the mental side. And I really feel like Shannon kind of knows all of the tricks. She just really needs someone to, you know, remind her sometimes of how great she is, and especially when it comes down the stretch. And you know, I think with Chuck on her side and you know, whispering in her ear and reminding her how great she is, we could certainly be seeing her get her next win here very soon.
We got Jordan Richard and Verity Crawley are both in our double pair here. Julia Bond, we see her. Also see Lindsay Boomershine. And you can see Diana's hair.
Oh yeah, it's looking good. I like it. Best hair on the PWBA tour, right?
Yep, that's what we determined.
Although she's got some competition. I've seen some interesting, you know, colors, interesting, you know, dyed, some pink. So I think she's gonna have a little bit of a run for her money in the hair department. Not from me, but certainly from some of the players.
You know, I certainly like all the different styles with what the ladies do with their hair. It's a lot different than on the men's tour, obviously, with the exception of Kyle Troop. But you got headbands, you got hair scrunchies, you've got Julia Bond's very interesting look with her hair.
Well, I'll tell you, Mike, I was one of the folks who wrote the PWBA rule book, and I actually was one of the folks who wrote the PBA rule book back in 2000. And the biggest difference in writing those two rule books is trying to figure out what to put in the apparel and the dress code area of the rule book. Because, the ladies have so many different styles of clothes that they can wear. Whereas the men, it's just you're wearing pants and a shirt, right? Whereas the women, they wear skirts, they can wear skirts, they can wear pants, they can wear, a lot of different things. So, it was hard to kind of put that together, and you want to give them options because, they can bring some cool looks to the table if you let them, use their imagination.
Yeah, and when you see all the jersey companies that have emerged, I know it to anybody that's been watching bowling for the last few years, it doesn't seem new, but to someone like me who grew up watching bowling in the late 80s and into the 90s, the jersey companies have really also allowed men and women to really get creative with what their look looks like from jerseys, and I mentioned that because they can also, they've got the pants and the skirts as well that can match. It's pretty cool.
So it looks like we're seeing a lot of, players hit in the pocket. Chuck talked a little bit about that it was a little bit gettable, but I am seeing a lot of 10 pins, we just saw Jordan Richard leave a 7-10 there. Carry, I think, is going to be the question.
Yeah, we almost saw Lily there on lane 18, and then, a 7-10.
Yeah, we got someone in the chat agreeing with the assessment about Carrie, someone who bowls here regularly. Also said it's a fantastic house with great ownership, and I couldn't agree with that more. Always feel like family when you walk into Cedarvale Lanes. But it's super nice to be back. It's just been boy, it feels like such a long time since we had kind of a normal event. And we still do have protocols in place, but 65 of the best players in the world here competing for a title this week. It's just so nice to be back.
It is, and I was just kind of thinking about that. I saw a comment here from Fancy in the chat that really wasn't too pleased with us talking about, all the different jerseys and how you can accessorize and everything like that. But this is kind of what it's like for me. I'm kind of a NASCAR fan too. And when the Daytona 500 rolls around, you've got new teams, You've got new sponsors. You've got new rules, new different things. And it's always cool to see how things have changed. And we've got a lot of that going on here because not all these ladies bolt the PWBA Kickoff Classic, as we talked about earlier. So it almost feels like the first day of school. You got your new backpack, you got your new trapper keeper, you got all the cool new stuff, and new uniforms and all that. So that's what I see here at the practice session. Obviously, we got a lot of talent here, of course, and we're going to really hone in on the competition as it begins. But it just feels good to be here. Like you said, when you haven't seen many of these ladies in 2 years because we didn't have a tour last year. So
Trapper keeper.
yeah.
I remember a trapper keeper. I don't know if my kids would, but
Red Lamborghini.
yeah. Oh yeah. Trapper keeper. Peachy folders. It does feel like the first day of school. Jay Werner. What's up, JT from Jay and Noel? like it's a show. What's up, man? How you doing? Those two are two of the biggest fans, maybe the biggest PWBA fans that we have. Hopefully we'll see them at a stop here when we can have spectators back in the building. So Jordan Richard looks like she's shown us a little bit of the out of bounds a couple times, throwing it a little right, and see that even though Chuck says they might be gettable, they're not exactly walled up. Lindsay gets one a little right there, and we see it 2-8-10. That looks like right there where Verity was playing is kind of the look. Right in the track. Don't get it too far right. The gutter looks like it might be just left a 5.
All right, athletes, please hold up. Hold up on your practice. Your 2-minute timer has now begun.
Shannon's bumped herself a little bit to the left, and that one strikes.
So, for example, if you're coming off 15 and 16, you will go to 25 and 26.
Well, Mike, we're about the halfway point here at the practice session. Who would be kind of your dark horse pick here for this week and maybe for the next, few stops?
I like how you're putting me on the spot here, JT. It kind of brings me back to the Masters and the U.S. Open where we were making picks and things like that, which is always fun, and I like to get everybody else involved in that as well. Feel free to let us know whether you're watching on Bowl TV or if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. If you want to type in and let us know who you think might have a good week here at the Twin Cities Open. We'd love to get your opinions as well. I haven't really had a chance to go through this list necessarily, but I am going to right now. Missy Park and her and Drew just bought a bowling center in California. I wonder if that stress is going to make her bowl better or worse. Will it have any effect whatsoever, or will it motivate her to bring a trophy home and display it in the center? But that's a player I always like to keep an eye on, because the things that she did at such a young age, and there's been a lot of heartache for her in her life personally with some different things that had happened. She just couldn't catch a break there for a couple of years, but now her and Drew are doing good. I mean, their pro shops were closed during the pandemic. They just bought this bowling center. I don't know. I wonder if Misty Parkin wouldn't be somebody to watch this week. There's a lot more to it other than just the bowling. There's a lot of mental part of this as well. and Verity, she's just been chomping at the bit to be able to throw the ball down the lane. Now she's able to compete again. I'm sure she's going to appreciate it more than she already did, just having the opportunity to be able to come over and bowl. And then I wonder about somebody like Aaron McCarthy as well. And Deandra Asbeatty doesn't bowl all the stops, but she's at this one. And I know Liz Culkin, she made the decision not to bowl the Kickoff Classic. So this is her first event of the season. Major champion out here. But I think the big one, JT, I think the big one to watch here this week is Danielle McEwen. Which version of Danielle McEwen are we going to get this week?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, we've been talking about it ever since, the Kickoff Classic, where she, had that very kind of surprising exit. And then, she had the TV appearance where she didn't look all that great, and then kind of struggled at the Masters, but then had a really great U.S. Open. And, we know that she had an injury that she was dealing with there at the U.S. Open with her foot, where she, dropped some bowling balls on her foot and was using the tennis shoe, which it looks like she's still using. But I think she's just fine. I think when you're that great of a player, you really just need one little thing to click in, and you're back to winning again. And I really think that's what it's going to be with Danielle. But it is a fair question to ask.
See a lot of comments coming in. Josie Barnes, another person. This is her first event of the season. Been coaching Vanderbilt. A lot of college coaches here.
Sandra Gongora throwing messengers.
Yeah, I had a couple people here also mention Sandra as well as Clara. Sarah Ullman here. She's predicting the step ladder. She's got Bercier, O'Keefe, Liz Culkin, Stephanie Johnson, Dasha.
That's a good. Not a bad pick there.
Coach Jazz now in the chat says, I would never bet against Danielle. She's just too good.
Yeah, I agree, Mike. It's not a wise decision to bet against, but I think it is a fair question that you presented, Mike. Which one are we going to see show up here this week? And traditionally Danielle's gotten off to slow starts in the seasons because she typically goes out and bowls a lot of tournaments against the men, and typically when she comes out on tour, her swing is a little bit inside out, and then she kind of fine tunes it the first few weeks on tour, and then she's obviously been runner up for Player of the Year the last 2 years. So it'll be interesting to see if she still kind of has that rust from bowling against the guys. But she bowled so well at the U.S. Open. I just feel like she's coming into this event in pretty good form, assuming her foot is okay.
Also,
go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I was just looking over this list here that you can go look at PWBA.com, look at all the pairings. We've got quite a few local ladies that have decided to lace them up here this week as well.
Yeah, who are some of the locals?
Yeah, just I'm just looking at Minnesota here, right? And I just see more Minnesota names here. Stephanie Harkless. I'm seeing Tina Caborn. Lauren Pate, of course, she's going to be out here bowling anyway, but from Minnesota here. Haley Trisky, or is it Trisk? I'm not sure on that one.
Yeah, it's such a bowling hotbed here in Minnesota. So many great bowlers, so many great bowling centers and tournaments, and so yeah, not surprising to see a lot of great local players out here this week.
And forgive me for not knowing this, but I believe that that Haley has a sister, Callie, and they're both bowling in this event. So sisters, I believe, bowling. Kayla Pashina also here. And of course, Amanda Vermelia from Minnesota. Danielle Lee also from Minnesota. So thanks for signing up and bowling and trying your best against the best ladies in the world. Larry in the chat basically doesn't care what we do the entire time that we're bringing you the Twin Cities Open, but he does have one request and one request only. Don't let JT sing at the end of the telecast.
Oh, that's no problem. I can easily adhere to that edict.
But you know what? Is that Larry calling me out? He wants me to sing? Is that what he's saying?
No, you really don't want that. I've heard Mike sing. Although maybe you do want that. Maybe that's what you were hoping for when you guys voted to have me sing, that it was going to be awful. And maybe it was awful. Don't worry, guys. There will be no singing this week. Unless, the winner wants to sing after she wins.
If you're subscribed to Bowl TV, what pairs will we be covering here this weekend, JT?
So because of the way the bowling center is structured, we'll be jumping around a little bit. So we'll have 11 through 14 as one of our channels. We'll have 17 through 20 as another one. Then we'll have 25 through 28, and then 29 through 32. And then as the field pairs down on Saturday, we'll be making some adjustments so that you can see more of the finalists. So we've got 24 games that'll determine our top 4 for the stepladder finals on Saturday evening. They'll bowl 12 games tomorrow. Everybody will bowl at the same time, 2 squads. We have a 10 a.m. Round 1, and then 5 p.m., and this is local time, round 2. And then we will come back on Saturday, bowl again at 10 a.m., and that will be the top 32 players who make the cut. And then we'll cut to the top 12 after that, 6 games, and there'll be 6 more games for the top 12, after which we'll cut to the top 4 for the stepladder finals. And that'll take place at 6 p.m. Central Time on Saturday.
Championship pair lanes 27 and 28, correct?
That is correct.
JT, you put me on the spot. Who are some players that are kind of on your mind this week?
Yeah, my heart really wants Verity to bowl well. I've been wanting to see her win her first title for a while. She's had 4 runner-up finishes, so I think that would be a popular one. But after what she had to go through just to get back here and missing, the kickoff classic, I think that would just be such a fantastic story. And she finished second here the last time, we bowled here. So she would be probably my favorite story if that were to happen. But, I really like how Dasha Kovalova looks. I mean, she bowled so well at the kickoff classic. I mean, she walked in and she's such great physical shape. She's been really working on her fitness, and boy, I just think after the confidence that she built in bowling so well back in 2019, and then having a great kickoff classic, but also kind of having a little bit of a bittersweet ending to that, where she didn't bowl well in the stepladder finals. Boy, I think she's going to be tough. But those would be my first two. I really think Maria Jose Rodriguez is due to have a good week. She bowled okay at the kickoff classic, but she's been so good for so long, and she's been so much. She's done such a great job at becoming a very consistent player, that she's always going to be around. But when she gets something that she likes, she usually takes advantage of it, and so I wouldn't be surprised to see her do well. Also, Liz Culkin, she just won the state Queens championship. So she's bowling well coming in. She missed the kickoff classic, so I know she's chomping at the bit to come out here and bowl, and I could see her doing really well.
And there's a whole slew of names that we didn't mention, JT.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, and I was trying to stay away from the usual suspects. I think Shannon O'Keefe has had a ton of success in this building. She's really the defending champion in this building, and then she made another stepladder finals when we were here before. So every time we've been here, she's made the stepladder. So I know it's not going out on a limb to pick Shannon O'Keefe, but I certainly would look for her this week to do well. And she's been working as a coach, since the kickoff classic. She hasn't really had a lot of time to relax, and so even though she's not competing, she hasn't been competing, she's still in the heat of battle and looking at ball motion and thinking about things from a competitive standpoint. So she's not going to be rusty.
I got to say, when I was looking over the roster, JT, I thought I saw a typo for a minute. Hall of Famer, one of the greatest ever lace them up, Leanne Holzenberg. She is not bowling this event, but there is a young lady here in the field named Leandra Hallberg. And Leandra Hallberg, I thought was short for Leanne Holzenberg, but it's not. And she's from Arcadia, Wisconsin. So I don't think I've ever seen her bowl before, but I'm looking forward to watching her bowl.
Okay. Me too.
Could you imagine if Leanne comes out and maybe bowls a couple majors? I'm not sure what her plans are, but could you imagine if we had a match, Leanne Holzenberg against Leandra Hallberg?
Yeah. I think, wasn't there somebody on the PBA tour named Ray Williams? I think. Yeah. So, yeah, it would be like Walter Ray Williams versus Ray Williams.
Good opportunity here to do a little bit of a reset. I'm Mike Flanagan here, joining you this week along with Jason Thomas. Just below me on your screen, we're here at the PWBA Twin Cities Open. You're watching on bowltv.com, or we're also giving you a free preview of the practice here also on our YouTube channel and on Facebook. Just to let you know, this is the fourth stop on the PWBA season. 16 more stops after this one, 20 total titles this year. Don't forget the Kickoff Classic. We already got started our first three events. First event was won by Shannon O'Keefe. No surprise there. Bowler's Journal Classic back in January. Then our second event, the ITRC Classic. Brianna Cote got her second win on the PWBA Tour. And then at the Hall of Fame Classic, we saw Julia Bond take home her first title. you're watching on bowltv.com, you're in good shape. If you're just watching for free today and you'd like to watch the rest of the competition, you can do so by going to bowltv.com. For the event pass, it's $8.95. For the month, it's $9.95. Monthly subscription, $79.95 for a year. We'd love to have you come on board with Bowl TV. Also, again, I can let you know, I can cover us up on this one here, bud. I will go over here, and a lot of people like to talk about the oil pattern. So this one here is 41 feet in length, 25.24 milliliters of oil. They're putting 14.85 milliliters of oil on the way down with fire lane conditioner, and on the way back, 10.39 milliliters of oil with ice oil. Ends up being a very flat 2.33 to 1 ratio. $65 total players in the field. And we really haven't switched cameras because of this unique skipping procedure practice session. 13 minutes, then move 2 pairs to the right, take a 2-minute break, and then 13 more minutes. And we'll be on the air for a total of 1 hour and 30 minutes with you as we've just eclipsed 1 hour. Take it back full screen. We've got some new players on our screen. We've also got Steve Jacobs from 900 Global.
Oh, goodness. Am I in a camera? Where's my microphone?
I think you hear the voice of Diana Z.
Hello. You guys see me?
Just about. Hi, Diana. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Oh, doing well. I noticed you're sporting some new clothing there.
I am, yes, my Zabby apparel. Yes.
Diana, you're back out on tour here. What's it like to be back out on the PWBA tour and have a bunch of events coming up? That's got to feel good.
It's nice. I don't have my equipment or jerseys or anything. It's been a really rough and long day so far traveling. So I'm just trying to watch and see what's going on. But other than that, I'm very excited to be back on tour.
I've been so busy with the setup, I had no idea what you were going through today. So take us through what's happening in your life with no bowling balls and no jerseys.
Yeah, usually on tour I leave early on Thursdays, Thursday mornings, and then I get in time for practice session, and then usually we have pro-am. So usually Thursdays are really, really busy, and this time I did the same thing. I left early on Thursday, and one of my flights was delayed, and I barely made the connection, but my bags didn't. So I've been tracking my bags like every minute and a half, trying to see if I'm going to get them in time or not. So, but they're saying I should get them by midnight tonight. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I had a pretty bad travel day yesterday myself, and my bag just got here about an hour ago from yesterday.
I heard, yes. And I think Cecil told me that. I'm like, no, don't tell me that. Like, I need my bags today. I need them.
So what can you get from this practice session, not bowling? What is it that you're looking for, and what can you see that could potentially help you?
I'm trying to look at this whole experience that I've had today, like from a different perspective. So in a way, I'm glad that I don't have my bowling balls with me, because I tend to have this mindset during the competition where, let's say I'm struggling and then I'm like, okay, I need to try a ball, but I know this ball didn't look good yesterday in practice session, so I won't even try it. So I think that's a good thing for me, is that assuming I'm getting my bowling balls tonight, I'm going to come in tomorrow with completely open mind. I'm not going to have that mentality of, oh, well, this ball didn't look good yesterday. So, and it's also a different perspective when you watch ball motion from behind than when you actually bowl. So I've seen some things. So just hoping to get my bags tonight and ready to compete tomorrow.
What have you been doing to prepare for this event coming in? I saw you participate out in Reno.
I did. Tried to practice as much as possible. Bowled a couple of tournaments. The Masters was one of them. It was brutal for everybody, but it was a good tune-up because it kind of showed me what my weaknesses were. So yeah, so just usual. Tried to bowl as much as possible.
So, do you have any roommates here this week, or rooming by yourself, or?
Yes, Verity Crowley. Finally get her because she did not bowl in Arlington because of the visa issues and everything. So I'm rooting with her, and then we get Daria next week. So I'm very, very excited to get my girls back.
Yeah, that's awesome. We were just talking about having Verity back, which is pretty awesome. What is her mindset? I'm sure you've talked to her quite a bit. What's her mindset this week being able to compete again?
Well, this is actually her first PWBA event with Storm bowling balls. So it's really, really exciting because she's bowled a lot in Florida, like lots of like sweepers in local tournaments. So this is her first professional event with Storm equipment. So she's really excited. And we both are nervous because, you know, we're always nervous. That just means that you care. So, yep.
What have you done with your physical game this year? Have you made any changes? I know you like to mess with your physical game a little bit here and there. Or what's the physical game like right now?
If you ask me, I am never happy with my physical game ever because when it comes to bowling, I'm such a perfectionist and I want every tiny detail to be perfect. If you ask anyone else, they think everything is good. So I'm always working on my swing, trying to get it to where I can repeat it every shot. So.
Yeah, I remember you had that kind of exaggerated hesitation at the beginning of your push away, and it doesn't seem like it's quite there anymore. Is that accurate?
I think so. I'm not thinking about it now, so
Okay.
I'm not fixing my game. It is what it is, so I'm just going to compete with what I have.
But do you feel good where you're at right now? Are you able to repeat shots the way that you want?
We always can get better. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm trying not to think about it. So I'm just gonna come in with a clear mindset tomorrow and bowl with what I have and see what happens.
All right, I'll leave you alone about the physical game. What bowling balls do you think you'll be using on this pattern?
Well, first of all, I'm hoping that they're gonna arrive.
They will. They will.
If they will, I'm thinking slower balls in beginning. So like Insight, my Rubicon, Phase 2s. I have a 2-inch pin bowling ball that's kind of like my secret ball, so don't tell anyone about it. So I think that's going to come and play also. But if they don't arrive, then I'm going to be talking to ball reps, and we're going to draw some stuff tonight or tomorrow morning.
Okay, so there is a plan in place just in case.
There is, yeah.
Well, you know, stranger things have happened. There's been some really crazy stories over the years of how weird things happen to people, and it just ends up being their week. Maybe this will be your week.
I hope so. I actually do have a story, and actually it was in Minnesota in 2015 or 16, whenever the tour came back. So the day of the practice session, and actually during the practice session, my bowling shoes split in half. And so I actually ended up bowling in a sneaker the whole tournament. I ended up winning. So I'm just hoping this is a Minnesota way of telling me, okay, you know what, this is going to be your week.
Well, that'd be pretty awesome. Well, Diana, thanks for spending a little bit of time. I'll let you get back going out and taking a look at what's going on and tracking your bags.
Okay, thank you. See you later.
See ya. Well, that's Diana. I had no idea that she was having that big of an issue with not getting her bowling equipment. So good catch by JT, getting Diana to spend a little bit of time. It did kind of throw me at first. Why was she wearing a hoodie? You know, was she done practicing? But no practicing at all. Good catch, JT.
Yes, no problem. She was just hanging out and saw her and wondered why she wasn't bowling. And said, "Hey, you want to talk to Mike? Promise you don't have to talk to me."
We had similar issues with getting bags here.
It's one of the perils of travel. Oh, Daria Payok saying hello in the chat. We wish you were here. I know she's in the country. I saw that she was drilling up some new balls.
Yeah, Diana said that she's with us next week. So many of the athletes do such a good job on social media communicating with their fans, showing what tour life is like. I think this is a good opportunity that if you don't follow your favorite lady professional bowlers, whether it's on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, make sure you do that. You get a lot of behind the scenes information and support the ladies. So follow your favorite athletes on their social media. Well, JT, are we getting back to normal here? I mean, the PBA just had a bunch of events. Open Championships is getting ready to fire up. We're getting ready to fire up PWBA for a whole bunch of weeks here moving forward. You've got college bowling is not canceled. It's back. We're crowning champions. It almost feels like things are starting to get back to normal.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting there. I mean, we're still obviously not back to normal. Everybody's wearing masks still and no spectators, so not quite there yet. But we are having a tournament. We have good turnout here. 65 players in the field. We will be crowning a champion, and so we're getting there. Obviously, we all want things to get back to the way they were, and I think they will eventually. But you just got to do what you got to do until we can do that. And even though things seem like they're going in the right direction here in the U.S., we've got if you read the news, I think the highest number of cases worldwide right now that we've had since the start of the pandemic. So. There's still a lot of countries that are on lockdown. And obviously we're doing our best to have some events while we can with, the restrictions that we have in place. So I'm looking forward to getting back to quote unquote normal. But in the meantime, we're going to have some bowling tournaments and crown some champions and hope everybody out there enjoys it.
Right, athletes, please hold up on your practice. Hold up on your practice. One more move to go. Your 2-minute timer has started. Please skip 2 pairs to the right.
So this will be the last practice session here, which should last 15 minutes.
Yeah, got a few good questions in the chat. Someone asking about Jillian Martin. We talked about that a little earlier, but if you weren't tuned in a little earlier, Jillian not here this week. She'll be her plan is to bowl the next Classic Series event in the summer at the ITRC. So that's probably the next time we'll get to see her competing out here on the PWBA tour. Someone asking if Gigi Mason is here. She is. So all you Gigi Mason fans out there, we get to watch Gigi bowl this week. She could, she wasn't one of the ones that I mentioned in my picks, but I certainly do like what I'm seeing out of her, just watching her throw some shots in the practice. And somebody else who I certainly need to mention is Maria Bolanova. She bowled well at the Kickoff Classic. She's a rookie. She was had one of the all-time great collegiate careers, coming into the tour, and she is throwing strikes out there right now. And she looks like she's got. It's interesting because it looks like the outside is really no good right now. It's a 45-foot pattern, so generally you're gonna want to play, more towards the center part of the lane. Although, at the U.S. Open we had a pretty long pattern where all the guys played, first arrow. So, but the players looks like they are, third arrow's kind of the place to be. Don't throw it right at 10. And saw Danielle McEwen whacking them pretty good from that line. And Maria Bolanova I didn't see her miss in about 10 shots. So I certainly like what she's doing out here in practice. But, we'll see what happens when we're bowling for score tomorrow.
It's a privilege to be here calling the PWBA with you, JT, and I'm signed up for a few weeks of doing this. So those of you that are watching, I'm looking forward to spending a few weeks with you here on Bowl TV. And I just want to make a little prediction now before I forget. In 4 weeks, we're going to have the USBC Queens. And I'm just going to say it right now, Stephanie Johnson's going to make the show.
Oh, yeah. Didn't she lead last time we were in the stadium?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I say that because Stephanie just came into our pairs of lanes.
Well, she's another player that's been working on her fitness, and she'd always kept herself in really good shape. But she worked with Valerie Bercier during the off season, and went on a plan right after the Kickoff Classic to try to slim down just a touch and tone up a little bit. And she walked in today, and she's looking sharp. A couple more folks mentioning Amanda Vermilia in the chat, and here she is here on lane 18. Local player. She's very familiar with this building. She comes into this event bowling very, very well. Her team just set a state record in the state tournament here. Let's get a look at where she's playing the lanes. She's right in there where we talked about, between third and fourth arrow. And that looks like it's the place to be right now. And as Mike mentioned, 45-foot oil pattern, and not a hugely high volume, 25.5 milliliters, but also using the fire oil, which tends to hook a little bit more. So there's a pretty good amount of friction. And the track hooks here, so
Yeah, forgive my PWBA history here, JT, but you're going to help me out on this. Isn't this where Verity and Shannon O'Keefe had like a really high scoring match, or was there a semifinal match?
No, they bowled for the title last time we were here, and it was actually a low scoring match, 189 to 182. The event you're talking about was actually a low scoring event where a high scoring title match broke out, which was back at Double Decker Lanes
Aha,
a few
that's
years
right.
back, which I think Verity bowled 266 and lost, and that might have been like the third highest game of the whole tournament. Yeah, James Goodman asks if we can play down and in, and I think you can. I think what I saw Danielle McEwen doing was not quite down and in. She was going left to right, but she wasn't looping it a whole lot. So I think it's probably better to go a little bit left to right and from in. But you can probably start, I would say, between second and third arrow, maybe around 12 would be the place to start, kind of up the lane. And then as soon as they open up, you just open up your angles and you keep your break point right around 10. And I think that's the line you're going to be looking for all week.
James also asked me personally, when's the next time I'm going to work with Mike Shady? And since the Open Championships are coming up and he's #1 all time in the average list, I probably do need to work with Mike a little bit and give him a little tune-up on his game. Although that's a joke. I know he's asking when I'm going to release another video with him, but good to see you in here, James. I also want to take a second, JT, and give a shout out. Jake Peters posted on his social media, a friend of bowling, about his wife Melissa Peters, who's been in quite a battle, and says that to Mel's support team, we could really use some positive thoughts and prayers. She's currently back in the hospital, still undergoing some testing. There's signs of infection in the brain. Our medical team is working around the clock with the best possible treatment to get her home. Hopefully, we'll have some answers soon and positive updates for you all. Mel would be out here bowling if she could. And she went to Wichita State. She's a tremendous human being. So our thoughts and prayers are with the Peters.
All right, winding down here. About 5 minutes left in our practice session. Hope you guys have enjoyed the coverage. Remember, we've got a lot of coverage coming up the next couple of days here on Bowl TV. Coverage begins tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, the first round of qualifying, 6 games. And then we'll be back at 6 p.m. Eastern for the final 6 games of qualifying. Cut to our top 32. And then Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 6 more games. Cut to the top 12 after that. And at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time, our final 6 games before we cut to our top 4 for the stepladder finals. We'll have it right here, Bowl TV at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And we'll have Carolyn Doran Ballard and Kelly Kulik calling the action, assuming Kelly's not actually bowling for the title. So lots of reasons to tune in to Bowl TV here on Friday and Saturday. So as soon as we wrap up here, we'll try to grab a player for an interview. Who do we want to talk to, Mike?
I'm thinking over here.
Okay. Someone asking about Ashley Galante. She's here. She'll be competing here this week. She had a good showing at the PWBA Kickoff Classic.
I think we should talk to Gigi.
Okay. Mike speaks and we make it happen.
I was just looking at who's near us over here that'd be very convenient to stop by.
Oh, thank you. You're just looking out for my number of steps to get in for the day.
Yeah, and I was thinking Gigi or Aaron. I'd like to get an update from Gigi. See where she's at coming into this event, what she's been up to.
Okay, we'll do it.
You know, just watching ball reaction here, JT, you're right. It doesn't look like playing outside of 6 or 7, maybe even 8, is really on many players' radar at all.
No, we saw a few players try to play there early on, and it just looked terrible. And so we've seen the players migrate left, and it looks like that's the place. And because we're using the fire oil that hooks a lot more, I mean that's they're gonna start there a lot quicker tomorrow when we get underway.
So does that mean ladies that can open up the lane like a Jordan Richard, maybe even a Giselle? Some of these players that are more confident playing the inside part of the lane. Verity, another one.
Yeah, you would think so, but I also watched Danielle McEwen throw about 8 in a row from in. So I think all of them will have the opportunity as a little early rake going down there, little sweep. But I do feel like there'll be, and that's tends to be a characteristic of Nick Hoagland patterns. He lets a lot of different styles play, but I certainly would not be surprised to see some of the players that go left to right do well. Typically, when you can play in, players that have a little bit more power tend to do better just because they can carry a little bit better from those deeper angles.
Coming to the close of our practice session here from the PWBA Twin Cities Open. I am Mike Flanagan. Jason Thomas is on assignment currently. He is going to line up a guest for us before we go off the air. Hope you continue to join us on Bowl TV the next couple of days, as this is the fourth stop of the PWBA Tour. After a couple of months hiatus, we are back.
That concludes the Open official practice session. After the competition will begin tomorrow at 10 a.m. We ask that you enter through the locker room. There's an entrance outside. If you go through the locker room and exit that way this evening, you'll know exactly where you need to come in tomorrow. Tomorrow we will be administering temperature checks by Caitlin down in the locker room. You will be able to have 12 bowling balls in the locker room during the event. Cecil has set that up so the tables, 2 athletes can stack bowling balls on the top, and 2 athletes can share underneath the table. So again, max of 12 bowling balls in the locker room.
Oh, this is nice lighting.
At 5:45, we will have a non-member meeting over by my
Hello, Gigi.
office.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hi.
You leave today, all non-members.
Kind of waiting for the announcements to end so we can have a little more of a private conversation here.
Yes, sir. Making sure the puffs are okay, you know?
Again, ladies, tomorrow the bowling center will open up at 9 o'clock, 9 a.m.
9 a.m. tomorrow,
Doors
Gigi.
will open.
Yes, I will be here.
Make sure you tell everybody to follow along.
All right, so let's get going here. So, Gigi, tell me about your game coming into this event and how
Yeah.
excited you are to be back out on the lanes.
Yeah, I feel really great to, just to be back out here. I didn't go to the first event, due to COVID. I didn't feel too comfortable, and the centers were open, close.
Tonight,
But I feel really good. I feel neutral, but I'm excited to be here at the same time, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, have you been practicing a lot? Have you been bowling many events? How have you been staying sharp?
Yeah, I've been doing more practicing than tournaments, to be honest, because we have like some local tournaments, but not too many. At least in my area, I bowl the tournaments when I can. So this is, I would say, is like the first bigger event. So
how many events do you plan on bowling this year? Are you going to bowl them all?
yes, that's the goal.
Okay. Well, since we're talking about goals, do you have any goals for finishes this year?
I have smaller goals. Obviously a main goal is to win a tournament, but really just my process goals. I want to stay clean. I want to just do better than I did last year with ball choices and stuff like that. And if I feel like I do all the right things, then the outcome will happen.
So what did you see from this practice session here today? What did you think of the lane pattern, and what bowling balls worked well for you, and how do you think you will attack them?
So Some pairs were tighter than others. Some were tight, some were like hooking a lot. Balls that I used that I really liked the shapes of were my Insight, my RST, uh, at least like on the fresh. And then when they broke down a little bit, I went to my UC2 with a little bit of surface looked good, my Zen, my Parallax. So I have a couple different options there. I'm definitely going to start out with a little bit of surface, maybe around 2025 sliding to 15. There's definitely hang to the right. So if you get it right, I'm a 210. So, just to make sure I don't get it too far right, but really just to see what happens tomorrow because they always play different than practice. So,
Yeah, they most certainly do.
yeah.
I see you have a lot of sponsors going on there on your shirt. You've got a lot of notoriety. You've got a great personality and you're a great spokesperson for bowling. Talk a little bit about what you got going on with your sponsors and what's been going on off the lanes.
Yeah, well, this is my logo. Wait, this one, my logo, Got Game, 10.com. You could go get some merch, GG merch, you already know. Obviously, PWBA, Storm. Bowler X I think it's behind me. This is actually one of my older jerseys. So, and Turbo, Coolwick jerseys. So, a little bit of everyone. And these are just like here. So, they sponsor the tour. So.
Yeah, well, I've admired watching what you've been doing off the lanes as well. Where can people go follow you if they want to keep up with your journeys, and what do you do on your social media?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at Jasmine Mason. You can follow me on Twitter, GMason10, GMason_10. I don't use Twitter too much though. My Facebook page, Jasmine GG Mason. You could go to my personal website. You got all the tournaments I'm a bowl, all the events that I do, JasmineMason.com. Like I said, GodGame10.com. You could get some merch, take a picture, and you could text it to my Got Game phone. It's 401-285-3287. I hope that's correct. And you can get updates there and you send pictures and I share it and stuff like that. So I'm on a little bit of everything.
Well, cool. Well, thanks for coming by and spending a few minutes with us, and hopefully we'll see you a lot more on Bowl TV this week, the most amount of games possible.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye.
All right. Well, thank you to Gigi for joining us here. Hope you enjoyed the practice session here today on Bowl TV. Just a reminder, PWBA Twin Cities Open Bowl TV schedule coming up. We've gone over it a couple of times, but don't forget tomorrow, 11 a.m. qualifying, round 1, 6 games, 6 p.m. qualifying, round 2, 6 games. Cut to the Cashers round for round 3. We'll come back Saturday, 11 a.m. Qualifying round 3, 6 games. Cut to the top 12. For round 4, we'll be back at 3:30. And then, of course, our stepladder finals at 7 o'clock. All times are Eastern. Let's bring JT back in. JT, we did it.
We won practice session. Yes. No, I hope you enjoyed that. I mean, I think I was talking to one of the ball reps back here, and he said, yeah, I think they started with a little bit too much surface. So, we saw a lot of players trying to play out to the right, too much surface. I think tomorrow we'll see a lot less surface, a lot weaker balls. We'll see them start to play a little bit further left. And when they do that, I think you're going to see some big scores tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they bowl. We did see somebody in the chats say stay away from those ladies on the front 8, Mike Flanagan. We don't want to jinx any 300 games, so we'll do our best. But I think there are going to be a few this week, and it should be a really awesome restart to the PWBA Tour season.
Yeah, friction normally means scores, and there is some friction out there. But these ladies haven't participated on tour for a little bit, although many of them are very, very sharp. So I'm looking forward to it as well, man.
Yep. So be sure to join us tomorrow, 10 a.m. local time, 11 a.m. Eastern time. The PWBA Tour is back again.
Sure is. And I'm going to pop this up on the screen. Those of you that are watching our free preview here on Facebook or on YouTube, look at this schedule we have coming up. Next week is Lincoln and the Greater Cleveland Open, on to the Queens, the BVL Open, and so on and so forth. We've got a lot of great things coming up here on Bowl TV when it comes to the PWBA. And don't forget also, this wouldn't be possible without our great partners, United States Bowling Congress and the USBC Board, Bowling Proprietors Association of America and the BPAA Board, Kegel, the official lane maintenance provider of the PWBA here on site, PWBA members providing exciting competition to watch, and the Bull TV community and fans of the PWBA. From all of us here at Bull TV, Jason Thomas, and of course, I'm Mike Flanagan. Thank you and good night. Remember, on Bull TV, bowling lives here. We'll see you tomorrow.